Yo, what up, cellar dwellers? This is Overlord Dan from the Movie Cellar, and I'm here to bring you another installment in our month of horrors cheap thrills series. And we call it cheap thrills because all the movies that we're talking about this month were all $1 at the Dollar Tree. So, this is my fourth episode, which makes it my seventh pick in the draft. So, if you didn't listen to the draft, you can go check that out on our podcast. Our podcast is everywhere. Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or Spotify or wherever the hell you listen to podcasts. You should go check it out because we're funny and dumb. But anyway, this episode or installment, I watched a movie called Trash Fire. Trash Fire. So I picked this movie because I'll be honest, and some people are not gonna I'll put it right here, like I'm doing the news. Some people might not, think this is a great reason to pick a film, but I didn't know. I didn't have a whole lot to go by. This one did pretty good with the critics. I think it got like a 65 on Rotten Tomatoes. So I figure, what the hell, give it a try, see what's up. Plus the cover art looked pretty gnarly. Also, check it out. There's this crazy, creepy looking old woman on the back. So I thought that sounds fun. Basically, the story goes that it starts out with this dude and his girlfriend, and he's a total piece of shit. He's just a total asshole to her all the time. Is totally insensitive to her feelings and all that shit. And it's why are you with this guy? You don't know why she's with him, but whatever. She's with him. And they find out that they're pregnant, and she's like, all right, listen, I'm going to abort the baby. And he's like, no, don't abort the baby. Let's have the baby. She's like, if we're going to have this baby together, we're going to start a family together. You got to get in touch with your family. And that's when everything goes bad, because they go to see his grandmother and his sister. Now, both of his parents died in a fire, and him and his sister barely escaped, and his sister got burned really, really bad. And he's, as far as he knows, he started this fire by I don't know, leaving the propane on or something on accident when he was a kid. So there's just a lot of trauma around that. And he's like, I don't know if we should. And she's like, that's the only way we're having this baby. So he's like, fine. So they go and see his grandmother and his sister. So his grandmother is a total bitch. She's a monster. She's treating his girlfriend like dirt. She's a whore, just like her daughter was a whore. Her daughter being the guy's mother. And then he can't even see his sister. She won't come out of her room because she's covered in burns. And the grandmother's like, oh, she takes her food upstairs because I can't stand to look at her while I'm eating. Just really terrible woman. Well, you come to find out, she's actually the one who started the fire. It wasn't him. She tricked him into thinking it was his fault, and it was her. She was trying to kill their whole family because her daughter was such a whore, apparently, and the children were just children of whoredom. Well, she's trying to pick back up where she left off, and she's trying to kill Owen. That's his name, and Pearl. And that's the sister, and then also the girlfriend, just because she's there, I guess. And so she tries to set the house on fire. She tries to do there's a snake in the toilet trick. She tries a bunch of things, and then finally she replaces Owen's medication. His he has seizures, so she replaces his seizure medication with placebo, and it doesn't work, and he's starting to seize, and she's like, the girlfriend's like, yo, call the ambulance. She's like, let him die, and I'm gonna kill you too. She's like, if you kill me, then I'll kill you, bitch, or if you let him die, I'll kill. I don't know, this is the whole thing. Well, so the old woman's got a gun on her. She's like, I'm gonna kill you. And then Pearl walks in the room with a big shotgun, and she's like, I don't know how many times I told you I don't like to hear fighting. And blows away the grandmother, blood everywhere. And then blows away Owen. He's dead. And then the girlfriend's just like huddled up in the corner, like crying. And Pearl goes over to her and she lays on her lap. And then cut to credits. That was the movie. It was weird. It was weird, and it wasn't scary enough. It felt like it wanted to be scary, and it had a great scary plot, but the old woman wasn't scary enough, and Pearl wasn't scary enough, and no one was really convincing. The girlfriend was pretty good, but other than that, no one was really convincing. So here we go. Here's the rundown. Gore. So each of these categories, thumbs up, thumbs down, or thumbs sideways. So Gore, I wasn't going to give it much for Gore, but I'm going to at least give it a thumb sideways because the shotgun blast and the blood splatter, she's wearing like a white nightgown. It looks great. It's covering her face. It's covering her white nightgown. It's great. Plus her face is all burned up, and so, you know, all that. It's a good look. There's also the scene with the snake in the toilet. Pearl walks in, grabs the snake, bites its head off, blood squirting out of it, and she goes and throws it at her grandmother. Another great sort of gory moment. But nothing major. Those were kind of the only two moments, but I thought they did them well. Music, meh. Music, it wasn't, I guess it wasn't bad, but there was nothing really that interesting. Ambiance, definitely a thumbs down. Like, this movie had all the right parts. If they had just like turned the lights down a little, made the grandmother a little creepier, made Pearl a little creepier, made the dialogue like maybe a little less like, it was very like sharp and like they were trying to be funny, like dark humor, but it made it not funny and not scary. So I felt like the ambiance was definitely, that's really what screwed this movie up. Creativity, I'm gonna give it, I guess I'll give it a thumbs up on creativity. I've never seen a horror movie like this before. It's a unique kind of story. I've never heard a story like that. Suspense and scares, that was another problem. Like, most of the action happened in like the last 20 minutes of the movie, and I guess there was suspense, but like the whole first like half of the movie was like about their relationship. They didn't even make it to the grandmother's house at that point. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to give it a thumbs down on suspense. You know there's kind of a build toward the end, but it doesn't have you like on the edge of your seat. And none of the moments last long enough for you to be like, oh shit, what's going to happen? Like with Pearl with the shotgun, that whole scene from like him seizing to Pearl killing everyone lasts like 30 seconds. So there's no build up, which can be good. In this case, it wasn't bad, but as far as suspense goes, not really. Lasting impact, thumbs down. This movie, there's a reason this movie was at the Dollar Tree. I guess the critics like it, and maybe you'll like it too. But I just didn't really think it was anything to write home about, And so overall, I'm sorry, Trash Fire. I'm gonna have to give you a thumbs down. This was probably the worst one I've watched yet. It wasn't bad enough to be good. It wasn't funny enough. It wasn't scary enough. It had a lot of cool pieces that I just felt like they never quite put together. And dude, just turn the lights down. That makes everything way scarier, Turn the lights down. That'll help. Anyway, that's it for this installment. Tune back in tomorrow. We'll have another one. It won't be me. It'll be one of the other guys. But they'll be talking about a film that I got at the Dollar Tree. Because this is the Movie Sellers Month of Horrors. Cheap thrills. Later.